See, that's coming right up.
Oh, okay. Do they have any
That's next week.
training?
6th and 17th is Tuesday. Oh, you know, Panera Gulf to Bay, is that it? Yes, that is on my calendar. Well, maybe I put it on thinking.
Okay.
I
I
have
don't
to
need to register for the city.
Panera Gulf to Bay.
My daughters do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna email her saying, probably just put it down to make sure that I get my, you know, I get something if he doesn't send it.
Okay. We still want to get
I just got something.
Put her feet over her head.
Lucky girl, you should do that every day.
Oh, this is so awesome.
We recorded audio. I think they televised the advisory.
Fox said it.
Oh, yeah, put them up on the table here.
Right, yeah.
It's right, and you mentioned Joanna's, it's
More toward night, it's kind of this, and then sort of in the middle section, so it's more toward night.
I was his neighbor.
Right,
Like,
right.
you're coming on next.
Fascinating.
That's what I do for jeans. I mean, about the time they start feeling comfortable, they start looking rough.
Yeah, so maybe the middle.
That's when you just don't get rid of them. Hey, listen, your kids pay for extra for that today. What are you talking about?
That's true, yeah.
Oh, that's so
They
neat.
start getting more money, man, you know? Jerry, how you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you as well.
There, come over here, baby. Do it, sweetie.
It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is. It's always a good day to see you, Jerry.
Aw, you are so kind. So kind and most kind.
Yep.
Hello, darling.
She's moving today. She's got her moving clothes on.
Yes. One rock. See, these are kind
Absolutely.
of some of these rocks.
Oh, wow.
So there she is doing whatever she's doing. But, I mean, it's kind of like it.
You know, I love going places and you know you're in another country.
Yeah, well, this is
Definitely, definitely.
definitely out of this world.
Hey, you're not gonna share? Where'd you go? Come on. What's going on?
It was in Turkey.
You want to
How
turn
many do we need to have for a quorum?
Oh, she is? Let's see what you got
So
going
she's
there.
like, it's like rock formations.
Send the pass,
Gosh, that is so cool.
Because I know-
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then just.
How'd she like it there?
really well. Well, she met this woman when she was at this ashram,
I thought we could only be missing
Yeah.
two.
January, February, and then we got married, so she went there for the wedding.
Uh-huh.
And now she's on their honeymoon.
Can't do any voting.
Hey.
Is that the story?
Well, you can have some meat, but doesn't.
Question.
count, I think.
How many do we need for a quorum?
4.
That's what I thought, unfortunately.
There we go.
Oh.
You got number 4.
Close call, huh?
Yep, yep, yep. Hey, you.
How's it going?
How are you?
Good, good.
Look at us. We have a form. I love forms. All
Yeah.
right. Forms just make life easier.
They do. Close this week.
We don't waste our time driving here. I'm kind of glad.
We're very close this week. I know I would have been quite
I would
sad.
have been a little bit going, okay. But
But we knew it was a chance.
I told Chris, I said,
we're here. We made it.
Now we have to wait for our fearless leader. He's
Some cool
making
stuff. Here comes some new
copies.
boxes. These boxes look great. They really do look beautiful.
I thought I signed it at the end last time. I apologize. I apologize. I thought I had signed before I left last time.
Oh, this was this time.
Oh, this is this time? Okay, presupposing everything's, I saw the waiting approval.
Oh, well, it is, but this way I won't forget.
Perfect.
I thought we voted
I'm
on
okay
the
with that.
boxes last time, didn't we?
We're talking more.
We're talking more? It wasn't clear?
we kicked it down the road. Kicked the can a little bit.
What is that?
Because we needed a form. Because we needed to be able to figure out which neighborhoods and how it was going to be decided and blah, 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 blah. Go through and read your minutes.
I read enough minutes.
Wow.
I can see you.
Like that?
I want an executive summary on my desk. I want to,
Reader's Digest
give me
version?
executive summary. I want a Cliff Notes version.
Uh,
So we had a summary, we had
down the road because there's a lot of neighborhoods that didn't have, I don't know, wineries.
Because how do we decide one versus another? How do we decide priority? How do we decide order? And is it the people that can pay? Is it the people who have need? Is it the most visible thing? What aligns most with the goals and purposes of this board?
Yeah.
I say the ones that have the most traffic. That way, just saying.
Everybody, and you should when we bring it, when the meeting gets started,
With the
when
most
the
traffic,
conversation
least
opens up.
traffic kind of makes no sense. We want to make it biggest bang for the buck. If I was going to invest in something with the biggest yield.
And that was one of the points that I think it was you that so intelligently brought up last time.
I don't know what I brought up.
Shall we call this meeting to order?
Yep, might as
ma'am.
well.
Mr. Hubbard,
Let's get going. We gotta,
I'm gonna wait for him to chew 3 more times.
Oh, no.
1, 2, 3, go.
Knock each other.
Okay,
We good? Okay.
thanks.
Thumbs off.
You are welcome. All right, we're gonna call this meeting to order. Love hitting this thing. All right, thank you to everybody that is here and missing and everybody that isn't here. But we're here, that's all that matters. So we're gonna start with the approval of the minutes of June 13th, our last board meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve?
A motion to approve. Second.
Thank you. Meetings are approved.
All in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we're approved. First, second. Oh. Okay, line item 3, citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda.
Mr. Haluba does wish to speak, but it is an item on the agenda, so we'll provide him the appropriate time.
Terrific. Okay, moving forward to new business items. The first one is provide direction on draft fiscal year 2019-2020 Public Art and Design Program Annual Work Plan. Thank you very much. I'm going to assume Christopher for the pictorial and the information on the upcoming, pardon?
Thank you. Yes.
Yes,
You're very welcome.
so that we have an idea of what might be upcoming so that we know what it is we're talking about.
Per our guiding documents, we submit an annual work plan each fiscal year to be reviewed. This is the upcoming fiscal year of 2019-20. We have 5 new projects and 2 ongoing projects. We have, starting at the top, Clearwater Police District 3 substation. It has 2 funding sources, the first of which, starting in 2019, is the Penny 3 funds, and then kicking in 2020 is the Central Insurance Fund. This is a 2-story facility that patrol operations and training facilities will occur out of. The current substation out at that site is a double-wide trailer that was constructed in 1983. So they're making some very necessary upgrades out at that site. So I will work directly with the stakeholders on that project to find something, or rather to even determine, is it an active public facility? If so, then yes, we'll need to install public artwork that's accessible to the public. If it is not, we will pool the funds to an area that is accessible to the public. We have that ability to either enhance existing projects or start new projects. Next is
Hold on. Do we know what the time frame is on that?
Its project should be starting in 2019 as far as early development. However, that $10,000 from the Penny 3 is for that early design. So I'll be able to consult with the architects when they do bring them on board for that facility, and that hopefully would lay out public artwork that would be very prominent if it is indeed to be regularly accessed by the public.
Thanks.
The majority of the construction and other funding comes in 2020 afterwards. Next project is Imagine Clearwater, which has a tentative title of Coachman Commons. Penny for Pinellas funding, going back to the funding for the fire station, that Penny 3 allocation of $10,000, that's the 1% of what Penny 3 is putting towards that project. So $10,000 is the public art, followed by another $110,000 for the public art in fiscal year 2020.
That's what I was curious
So I'll go
about.
ahead and work with the architect on those initial designs. We will wait and pool that $10,000 into with the $110,000 for a total of $120,000. And again, same thing. If it's inaccessible, we'll make it so that it is in another facility.
Thanks for the clarification.
You're very welcome. Moving on to Imagine Clearwater in 2019 and 2020. Designs are already underway for that project. I am working with the city manager's office as well as the architects and designers Stantec to make sure that elements of public art included throughout the park that they are fully accessible to the public no matter what time they go to the park, and that we're considering lighting components and other enhancements as well as traditional sculpture.
I just saw a presentation on the new plans on Monday. It's really exciting. And the next meeting, maybe we could get a report on that, because it's really I was on the original Imagine Clearwater. It's actually getting back to what we talked about in the beginning. We kind of lost our way in there somewhere. And so now I'm really happy with what's happening. And I know you've been involved in it.
I'd be happy to present next meeting. I'll bring an update and anything that transpires between now and then as well.
Great.
Thank you. And so quite a large amount of public artwork or aesthetic design will go into this project, just as the nature of what it is. Moving on to Crest Lake Park. This is nearing 60% design right now. Project includes renovations, including sidewalks and paths, and upgrades, including a splash pad and a small amphitheater at the park. Public artwork at this site, after a meeting with Parks and Recreation, the most available site looks to be the splash pad for children to use. I've seen some really interesting ways of either swapping out materials that are soft and more cushioning rather than the usual concrete that you usually have out there. I've also seen other treatments to the concrete, whether it's an applied flake or murals itself painted and sealed onto the concrete. So we've got some good potential out there. If funds are not entirely expended for the 54, but I think they will because it's quite a large square footage, they could be added to another site at Crest Lake, or it could be pulled to another project. So we'll see where we go with that. We did look at a number of different other kinds of enhancements to the park, including there's one artist that crochets children's play nets, which are fabulous. But when you look at the way the insurance documents go, the companies that manufacture the playground equipment carry the insurance, liability insurance for it. The city does not bear that. If the city were to commission something through public art, we would then need to take on liability. So I think it's better left alone. It would be a stunning project, but there may be use for that in the future elsewhere.
Makes sense.
Next up, we've got the athletic fields and facilities. This is part of the Sports Tourism Initiative. We have about $25,000 of penny for money to do out there. This is sort of a project that's kind of developing as we go along. A lot of the buildings that are being done are on the back side of the facility, dormitories and practice facilities for the ball players up there. Perhaps it could be an enhancement to the exterior of Spectrum Field, something that folks would not have to purchase a ticket to go see.
We talked before about something that was viewable as they were driving past on US 19.
That would be the most ideal. The back of the scoreboard would be a great site for that. So I'll work with Mr. Timberlake and the Threshers Phillies team out there. Just find a place that's prominent, but also easily maintainable. And then after that is Ruth Eckerd Hall. It's renovation and redevelopment inside the facility. That'll be for $5,000. They have some small enhancements that they're doing that public artwork would be able to plug into, essentially. In the past, they've had some alcoves there that they put a bust of that a sculptor had created, or something that's very tasteful inside the facility. I would prefer that it would be outside in some fashion. That someone could come up, walk around on the grounds. We do have a public park behind Ruth Eckerd Hall, so if it could be tied into that. There's a boardwalk and marsh walkway that's just to the north of the home.
Okay.
So perhaps that could be a joint enhancement there. It is a small fund, $5,000, but I think we could do something nice that people could see all through the time. And then ongoing projects. Actually, Mr. Haluba, we are bringing up Morningside. If you'd like to speak at this point, let me go ahead and say the item. It's your choice whether you'd like to do it now or later. Mornings. Okay. Morningside Recreation Complex is an ongoing project. We are under contract with Mr. Kemper, and he is proceeding with his final fabrication and design for that. And so I'll turn over for some public comments on this section.
Well, I am the one that wrote
Sir,
the,
you need to identify yourself for the record.
I'm Mr. Haluba,
Sir, what is your first name?
Daniel.
Dan, and your last name?
Daniel, Holuba.
Thank you.
And I am the one that wrote the email about the art at Countryside, the wonderful Guy Kemper thing. And as I wrote in that email, that's the wonderful thing about abstract art. You see what you want to see. I'm absolutely appalled that this committee would recommend spending $36,000 for that piece of art. It's not art to me, and it's not art to a lot of people. I think what, this committee is attempting to do is a worthwhile endeavor. But when you go way off the highway and outside the mailboxes, and you take something that looks like a fifth grader did it with a mop, and pay somebody $36,000 to hang it up, not in the public, but in a public building, you lose your credibility. Pretty much overall. I may be the one standing here saying this, but believe me, I'm not the only one that thinks this way. This committee and the money that it's given, the 1%, it's a gift. It's an absolute gift from the taxpayers and from the citizens, and for something like this Guy Kemper thing to be going on, which all of the cowards on the city council voted for, except for the outgoing mayor, it's atrocious, it's offensive, it's ridiculous, it's a violation of your fiduciary duties with this money that the public has entrusted you with. It's public art.
May I ask a question, please?
Sure.
I apologize, I wasn't privy to having read your email.
No, it was nasty.
Okay, could you very succinctly, in maybe 5 sentences or less, explain what is wrong with, is it the style, is it the color? I want to better understand.
Basically, in my email, and without getting as graphic as my email was, it looks
Please, ma'am.
like things that would be swirling in a toilet as you flush.
Could I
That's-
comment on that?
Sure.
I was on that original selection committee, and I'd like to explain how that happened, because I don't think any of us liked the way it evolved. It started off with
Really?
a design. Guy Kemper came up with a really good design, and the committee selected it, and the building was supposed to be not blue. The neighborhood said they did not want blue. It was supposed to be a neutral color or whatever. But I'm sure you wouldn't have to like abstract art to like this design. It was very good, but it was supposed to be put up on a window that went across the front of the building so you could see it really easily outside.
Oh, I'm aware that there was some interference with Guy Kemper,
Well,
too.
what happened
Which I think is
was
what you're saying, isn't
the
it?
architect, for some reason, and I won't get into my own speculations because the architect actually made their own bid, and we did not select that one. We selected Guy Kemper's bid, and it was really good. But what happened was the architect went ahead and constructed it, put it in colors that would work for the design, put the window, and Christopher was not there at the time.
There's a word for that.
So
It's called
he was
cluster,
not
and the
able
next
to
word
follow
starts with an
through
F.
with that concept. But I don't know how it happened. But then when we went back and we were told it won't work anymore because the windows were tinted, so the original design wouldn't work, which was a really, really good design. I think everybody would like. But we went back, and what was shown to us by the staff where we could put stuff, first of all, there was hardly any place. We couldn't have switched to, I guess after Guy Kemper put so much into it, the neighborhood was very active in selecting the final design. So they showed us a wall near the door, And the neighborhood felt like it would be too prone to vandalism, so they didn't want to put it there. And I can understand that. They know their neighborhood. But then we were shown another place, which was way the heck out there, because there's not much space in that place. Way out there, and I don't know if anybody could have seen it. So we wound up with only able to put it in this one place. And I know this caused like all kinds of concern. The mayor didn't like it. I wish he would have been there because, you know, what they showed us was nothing available. I was disappointed in the final selection, but we really didn't. I think the only alternative would have been to tell the neighborhood that they couldn't have it, and I don't think anybody's brave enough to do that. That neighborhood
I'll
is
do
really
it. Give me an
committed.
email list, and I'll email my email to
They're
every
really
one.
committed to what they feel like is their recreation center. And they turned out for the meetings and turned out for everything. It was never going to work any other way. That was all that was really left.
Well, but that's not acceptable.
Well, it's
You know,
not
really,
acceptable.
I mean, that's
of
all
other
that was
things.
left. We
Yeah.
had to do it because of all these restraints and this, and we interfered with the
Sir?
artists, and then you still go ahead and spend the $36,000. That's,
Sir, are you here to be heard? Are you here to tell your story, or are you here with a solution? I just want to know how I'm supposed to be listening.
how are you supposed to be listening?
I'm happy to listen. We're all happy to listen. I'm wondering, are you coming with a solution? Because my understanding is
My
the artwork
solution
is
would
in
be to
process.
stop this, to refuse any further payment to Guy Kemper.
Did you attend the meetings that the neighborhood attended?
No, I did
Okay.
not. That's just, you're the buffer on that. You're supposed to clear these things, and I assume, you know, since you all are on this committee, that you have
You understand that art is
some
subjective.
input.
You do understand that art is subjective, and so what you might like, somebody else might not care for, and vice versa.
Well, everybody I give my opinion to agrees, and some have even worse ideas. And like I say, I'll tell anybody out there in Countryside about it. I've had agreement on my side. But what Ms. Cunningham said, and I appreciate you being so forthcoming. When I hear what you say and the research that I've done in it since this money was voted by the city council, that's what upset me. I couldn't believe these people would throw public money away. That's the way I feel. I know it's
You keep saying countryside. Isn't it Morningside you're talking
Yeah.
about? Or countryside?
Morningside, Countryside.
Well, we have a countryside center also.
True. All right. Well, it's no matter where this is hanging, he needs to go hang it back in Versailles, Kentucky.
Okay.
But what I'm getting at is it did not come to my attention until the city council did this. And it was a mistake. And then again, I go back to Ms. Cunningham. I believe everything she said is pretty much exactly the way it went down from my research. But you got, the committee pulling one way, the architect doing something else, the citizens are saying there's not room, and then we get this.
So perhaps what we can do is take your constructive feedback.
Well, I'm not sure it was constructive.
It
but-
doesn't matter. You bothered to show up. You bothered to share your time with us, and we appreciate that. And that we can take a look and see if any adjustments can be made, because it is in process. It is going forward. It has been delayed multiple times. To start again, but let us take your information and we'll have conversations and see if some adjustments could be made. Would that be okay?
That would be fine. And I've looked at some of Guy Kemper's stuff.
He's
He's
phenomenal.
very good.
No, neither of those. He's okay. He deals pretty much in squares and rectangles and circles, and again, we're back to fourth grade. I could do what he does, honestly. Because he don't do it. He draws it, and someone else makes it.
Could I add one thing? We were only one vote. The neighborhood was there. They had several people. So the neighborhood, like I said, this is an unusual project because
Sure
they
is.
feel very bonded to that whole thing. So
Well, I'm not part of that neighborhood, but I can sure stand up here and say that I don't want any part of my money spent on it, And I just disagree with the whole, idea of doing this with only one neighborhood involved, and then you have all of this consternation about, you know, all these committees. You got a committee, you got the architect, you've got the location, you've got where it's going to go, and I understand these things have to work out, and I commend you people for giving it a try, but you failed on this one. I mean, go over and look at the fire station. Did y'all have a hand in that also?
If I may, I just wanted to say for, you know, procedural protocol, what we typically do is the board will evaluate 3 criteria for the project. That it's commissioned by a public artist, that is obtained through a competitive bidding process. The second is that the appropriate 1% of funds are spent on that project, and that the project is accessible to the public, being that the public can see it during normal business hours, and at times at which the facility is closed would be able to reasonably see it through a public-facing window. The board evaluates those and then forwards their opinion on to the city council, at which the city council makes the final decision on the contract of the project.
The city council is under some pressure from constituents to do these things. That's all I heard at that city council meeting. Oh, you know, they want it, they want it, they want it. Well, I don't want it. I don't want money spent in this manner. Public art, yeah, that's cool, you know. I love art in the form of architecture. You know, I think, you know, Art Deco is cool. I like Frank Lloyd Wright stuff. I'm not anti-art. But somewhere, you can't just form a committee and do these things based, obviously, on the fact that you've got money that you feel you must spend. And that's what it appears.
What we can do, as is take Mr. Hulu's comments. We have them, and per our usual, is that we can make sure that those are passed along. The project is still in the design and construction phase, so if adjustments need to be made, that they can be accommodated. If the city council, if the board, we would take that through its regular structure to evaluate that. Could that delay the project even further? Yes. However,
Wonderful.
we would need to follow a protocol and procedure for that.
Will you send me an email, Mr. Hubbard? Oh, will you send an email to me when something is decided further, or can you do that?
I do not know the answer to that.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of that going around. I mean, but really, honestly, I think it's a total swing and a miss, especially if it's going to. Now, one picture I saw of it, apparently of it, you know, projected up on the wall where it's supposed to be in this building, had a whole bunch of fluorescent lighting hanging in front of it. And I was like, oh my God, you know. Pardon?
Those lights will be removed.
Well, is this thing hanging up there already or not? I really think it's a mistake. I think we should cut Guy Kemper off. But, you know, it's the government. They get money appropriated to them, as in your case, and it just seems to be mandatory that this money be spent. If you got a budget, you got to spend it. And like I say, I'm not against public art. I like the things that are down on Cleveland, and I like the idea that they're rotated in and out. I think that's appropriate. But in my mind's eye, I'm not really sure that this is even an endeavor that a municipality should be entertaining. You know, pick the garbage up, keep the streets passable, and have some policing authority, which should not be Clearwater Police, but that's another story. And this was what? This ordinance goes back to 2005. Well, it was passed in 2005. Ordinance number 7489-05.
We really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and share your.
One more thing, and then I'll leave you alone. And in that ordinance, it says the public art and design program is to reflect and unite the community through art. This Guy Kemper thing don't do that. It's a failure.
Thank you.
Ms.
Christopher, how did we get so far away from the original I know you weren't there, so I don't know if you could answer that. But how do we get so far away from what we originally came up with?
I wish I could answer. I mean, since I was not in the position at the time,
Yeah.
anything I gather now is either
Hearsay.
either hearsay or it's been, it's been a little while. Perhaps people's memories are not completely accurate. I don't know. And I wish I could give an accurate answer, but not having been there, I can't conjecture.
What concerns me the most was the architect that made the decisions on this thing was someone that would made a bid on it in the beginning and we didn't select him. So, I mean, it sounds like, he didn't go for our decision and it just took us so far off. Because I think it was a fabulous design, really, and the neighborhood loved it, the original.
Shall we move forward?
The second ongoing project on the list is the gas system Pinellas building. There's a budget pending for that, but you'll see that building along Myrtle. We've got some very nice opportunities to enhance the exterior, and I'll note that again, exterior of the building to accommodate that because Myrtle is a north-south major thoroughfare. So we want to take advantage of that. The building also has access to the Pinellas Trail, which is also, an encouraged use of folks enjoying outside activity. So we'd like to highlight the building with something that they'd be able to see.
Terrific. And what is our current balance? Or
The current balance of the discretionary funds? That's my next item. So,
okay, how convenient.
this is just provide direction. I will bring this back to the next board meeting. I just wanted the chance for the board to take a look at it and hear kind of what we're focusing on for the next fiscal year.
Perfect.
Awesome. Good job.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, great. The next item is provide direction on a draft application and guidelines for public art.
We've got to go back to 4.2.
Oh, 4.2?
That's the discretionary fund balance.
Oh, there we go. 4.2.
Review current public and design discretionary fund balance. We currently have a balance of $109,000. That is unencumbered, so it is funds available to utilize for pooling with existing projects, starting new projects, or available for support with project partners throughout the city.
Great. Anybody have questions on that?
No, and I do have one question, because those dollars could be conceivably utilized on some of these projects to help if they just need more. Perfect. Awesome.
And that fund is also supplemented if there is a project that is not feasible, the budget is too small to make an impact, or is not a public facility, we take those funds and put them into the discretionary.
Perfect.
Okay, moving on. So we had talked at our last meeting, and I see that we have a draft application and guidelines for public art and design grant assistance for projects led by neighborhood and community organizations, which is great.
We've had some requests for assistance financially for community-based projects, partnered with arts organizations, communities, and neighborhood organizations. One of them is from the Clearwater Arts Alliance that we had heard last time at our last meeting. Another one is upcoming in the future, but I wanted to make sure that there was a codified system by which we evaluated these requests before we expended any funds or allowed any funds for those. Within those guidelines, you'll see that there is a review rubric at which requests are evaluated. There is a tier-based system based on the amount of the requests. Tier 1 grants up to $2,000. Tier 2 grants from $2,000 to $10,000, and Tier 3 grants over $10,000. The review process would evaluate the project on a number of different criteria, project feasibility and the ability of the applicant to ensure that the project will be completed as envisioned. Compatibility with the mission, goals, and objectives of the Clearwater Cultural Plan and/or the Public Art Master Plan. Maintenance and vandalism mitigation plan. That refers to not only contemplated placement of the piece, but also should it be vandalized, at which way will that piece be conserved to return it back to its original condition. And then following that, the applicant's demonstrated history of success with similar projects, not smaller. And then the last is anticipated community impact. Now, as far as the Public Art Master Plan states, there's a criteria for funding community-led or organization and partner-led projects, that we fund projects in areas with an active community interested in working with an artist. They should take higher priority than projects elsewhere. That projects in areas that do not have public art should take a higher priority than projects elsewhere. Projects should not rely solely on the discretionary fund for support. And then finally, projects located in neighborhoods, in the following neighborhoods should take higher priority than projects elsewhere. These neighborhoods do not commonly have access to public facilities. They are not close to trailheads or other things that might traditionally supply public art access to those sites. So the neighborhoods of Brook Hill, East Gateway, Glen Oaks, Lake Bellevue, Milton Park, North Greenwood, Skycrest, Spring Branch, and Sunset Highlands. So that is, and then finally funding restrictions. The discretionary fund grant assistance must be expended within the city fiscal year in which it was approved. Applicants receiving funding must register for tax purposes, and the discretionary fund cannot be the sole source of funding for the project. The project must have support in-kind services or any kind of funding from an organization that is providing guidance on that project. I have following with that, also I have an application, which is just very basic information that the board would be able to take and evaluate those criteria to make sure that the project adheres by that if they are going to approve that.
This is great. It's very, very detailed, very clean, and well thought through. Thank you.
So no action is necessary on this. It's just something that I wanted to present to the board. I will bring this back to our next regularly scheduled meeting for review.
With the intention of it being voted on.
Correct, yes.
To push forward to the city council to adopt.
No, that's something that we can do
Here?
organizationally.
Okay, all right.
Christopher, would Skycrest include, I know their neighborhood's very committed to Crest Lake Park. Would that be necessary, would that be like where they would put it? Are they tied together or are they
No,
considered
they're
separate?
The neighborhood, if they're coming in for grant support, they can choose another area in their neighborhood to place it. It does not need to be tied to a capital improvement project. If they want or wish to do so, that, yes, we can look into that.
So they could like have their funds go in with Crest Lake Park, in other words? Is that what you're saying? Combine it or what?
It would be, yes, it would be a sort of strange way to do that. I think the more streamlined would be that the citizens of Skycrest would come to the board and petition for support for the board to access the discretionary fund to supplement the Crest Lake Park project. And that way they wouldn't be filing an application, but just encouraging the board to consider doing that as a means of
Expanding.
correct.
I'll relay that
Okay.
to
Yes.
them.
Thank you. So if we're good, I will go ahead and send this back to our next meeting.
Great, so this will get emailed to the members that weren't able to be here so they can study it so that we can vote on it next meeting? I like it. I like Forbes. Any other questions for Christopher on that? Okay, moving forward. Approve a request for staff to access no more than $2,000 from Public Art and Design Discretionary Fund for the purpose of providing a machine swirl pattern to the base of the Learning Tree sculpture at the Clearwater Main Library.
Thank you. The Learning Tree sculpture is at the front of this facility. When it was installed, the artist provided an I-beam support as the support structure for the piece of public artwork. Library staff, although it met with safety concerns as far as its installation, were just wondering, they wanted to have something placed over the beams. And so the Parks and Recreation Department donated some stainless steel plates for that. But the plates looked very unfinished. The library has asked for me to bring a request to the board to machine the plates just so that they match the tree a little bit more and aren't so starkly contrasted. I know that it will cost less than $2,000. I just wanted to make sure there was enough funding in the request to exceed what it would need to go ahead and apply that machining.
Okay.
Any funds not expended of that $2,000 remain.
Any questions?
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to approve. A motion to approve?
Second.
All in
Maybe
favor?
Tech and,
Aye.
Tech and Warner can do it right down the street.
We
They got a metal shop walking distance.
Yeah, we will use an outside contractor.
There's always someone who's not gonna like it, but I like that idea.
I will go ahead and contact them. I'll get some bids from locals. That's always the intent of the program, is to support our local economy through our commissions and through installations.
Terrific. Okay, moving back to old business. Approve the request from the Clearwater Arts Alliance to fund their proposal for Phase 5 of Thinking Outside the Box.
We have Beth Daniels, president of the Clearwater Arts Alliance. She's here to provide you with some responses. There were questions of her for terms of evaluating priorities of neighborhoods at the last meeting at which she had presented her request.
Thank you, Christopher. My name is Beth Daniels, and I'm the president of the Clearwater Arts Alliance, which is a 501c3 charitable organization with a mission of supporting arts and artists in our community. And I have a voice this time. Last time in June, I was coming down with a cold and was kind of squeaking to you. I did put on each of your, can we call up the PowerPoint?
Yes.
I put on each of your,
Do you have it on a Joe?
I can do, either this side or that side,
okay, hang on. I made the mistake of stapling mine. Now I guess I'm going to need to feed it on there. I thought when I sent it to you digitally that was the point of me doing that. Sorry.
That's we have to list it on the
Can we put it, do I put it upside down or right side up?
And I think we've got to change the input source.
Maybe we'll just go the old-fashioned way. Is that okay?
Right for me.
Ah. It's a little, ooh, it's probably too, yeah, we have to make it a little smaller so it'll fit all the way. At any rate, we made a full presentation at your June meeting, is my recollection. And I don't want to go back. There were about a dozen slides or so giving the whole history of our organization, who we are, when we started, and that we've been through, at least so far, about 4 phases of what we call Thinking Outside the Box, which has been a project to take art images, put them on a vinyl wrapping, and then have those adhered to the drab gray signal boxes that control our traffic lights. Basically, the preceding phases were the research and finding out what materials work and what will hold up in our weather, installing some prototypes which were done around town. Those are now, I think the very oldest ones are about 4 years old. In the next phase, we kind of did a concentrated part here downtown on Cleveland. So there's like 6 of them within the area, say starting at the Capitol Theater and going up to like, I believe MLK might be, no, Missouri is the last one. And then as we went a little bit further, we started to go to the sort of almost like a concept of the gateway. As you come into our city, coming north out of Bel Air into Clearwater, coming south out of Dunedin into Clearwater. We tried to place them at some good spots where, hey, this is welcoming into our city with something bright and vibrant. So those are kind of where we were in the past. We've also initiated going to private businesses and have recently installed 4 new ones that were underwritten by Morton Plant / Baycare. So 4 new ones, 2 downtown and 2 out in the Drew Street area where their big new office buildings are, were recently done. So we're now at a total of 25 around the community, but we definitely wanted to be in a position to keep moving forward even if we didn't have a lot of private sponsors. So it occurred to us, and we came probably maybe even a year ago in making public comment to your board to say, in the discretionary funds, since we are a long-term Clearwater-based organization, since our efforts are all going toward art, couldn't some of the discretionary funds that you manage in the larger sense be a piece here or there come to us to continue expansion of the project? So the idea we came up with, which we're calling Phase 5, and this is where the new slides start, and sort of where we left off, is saying let's look at what another iteration might be that would be positive. And especially with new emphasis on neighborhoods and Juliana's department being more energized, it occurred to us that a good way to do it would be to say, hey, if we had some funds from you from the discretionary pot, so to speak, we could go out and make contact with individual neighborhoods. And instead of just having an artist say, here's a general image that's colorful and cool and will be vibrant, but to actually work with the community to directly design something unique for that neighborhood. So under Phase 5, which we talked about last June, we had requested funding that would enable us to do, based on our history of knowing what it costs, we could do probably 6 boxes. So we've talked about that, we talked about the plan, we talked about how we would roll that out. And basically what happened, my recollection anyway, is there were some concerns amongst your board, say, how do we make sure that these, if there's 9,000 that would allow us to do 6 boxes, how do we make sure those are equitably distributed, that all neighborhoods get a chance? It's not sort of a first come, first served, free for all or whatever. So we took those questions and went back and had several meetings with Christopher and also with Juliana in the neighborhoods department. So starting with a slide that starts with answering these questions, I think I can slide this one on. This would be page 2 that I provided to you. We went back and we started looking at, okay, how would we deal with that? And the idea was that in the public art plan, the master plan, there are a couple things that are specified, which is that it needs to be sort of creating an area of public pride, which we feel this would do in these neighborhoods. There are some specified neighborhoods, and they actually match up also with the ones that Christopher put in his new plan for how criteria for judging these things. There are some neighborhoods that are frankly underserved. So the idea would be to give them the first shot by making sure that Juliana gives them advance notice. We have to have a community that we know will cooperate with us and work with us, because you can't have a collaboration if there's not more than one party, agreeing to meet, talk, share their ideas. So there would be a simple application process, but they'd sort of get the first shot at it by being notified early. They'd be able, instead of doing like a call to artists, we'd do like a call to neighborhoods. We'd put it out there, here's this new project. If you have a neighborhood group that is willing to take ownership of this, agree to spend some time and some energy, then make an application to us. Who are your leaders? How do we get in touch with you? Are you willing to work with an artist? And then we'll evaluate those neighborhoods. The idea was we give some additional points to the neighborhoods if they are applying and they're already in an underserved area. So then we would then rank them with help from Christopher and Juliana in saying, okay, let's hope we get 10 applications and we can only fund 6. At least we're going to start off with making sure that whoever, the quickest, richest neighborhood doesn't get the first shot just because they come flying in the door. So that, we restructured that whole part based on that, on those conversations, which we feel would work nicely to address the concerns that you had. So from there, then if we have adequate applicants and they indicate their willingness to work with it, then we do the call to artist, which we discussed before, match them up with a neighborhood, and they need to come up with, it might be something historical, it might be a color theme that's something else that's going on. I mean, I'm not the artist, I'm more, I'm an ideas person, but I can't draw a thing. So, but I feel confident that once artists and the neighborhoods sit together, they'll come up with some unique designs. So that would provide that within each one, the artist would be paid and the neighborhood would be honored, and we would be, the other thing that could allow a neighborhood to get more sort of ranking too would be in the plan. It says if there's the ability to cluster some art, maybe play on something else that's already there or do a moldable project, that again would be a reason to say that neighborhood maybe should be at the top of the list versus the bottom, because there's a better opportunity to get more bang for our buck, so to speak. So, I mean, an idea that came up because Juliana's group is already working with Lake Bellevue is there's a signal box very near where there's a new request for a mural. A private owner who's willing to allow their space to be used for a mural. Perfect opportunity maybe to have a similar image or part of an image that gets repeated, and then you're getting a whole flavor for something. So that's just an example. But we believe that with that sort of restructuring of how we would actually do the process to pick which neighborhoods, that we've answered, I believe, your concerns. So with that, the other slides are repeats of what we provided before, but this is the nuts and bolts of how we would alter the structure to make sure that the fairness concern is issued and is addressed. And of course, we'd be happy to answer any other questions you have. It's a real plus that now that Christopher's back and has time to work with us more directly and to shepherd us along, and also that Juliana's department is more active. We've got, this fulfills the community partner that's asking, who's us, is not going to be just out there flailing on her own. We're going to be working shoulder to shoulder with the city department, helping us make sure that we carry out the criteria that we've set forth. But we feel we have a track record. We've got 25 of these out there. In fact, Juliana's program, where the neighborhoods are now using it, is based off the information that we've developed and the technique that we've developed, and so that more neighborhoods, if they can afford them on their own, can also do these. So it has the potential to kind of one thing boost up the next thing. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have.
I'd just like to say I'm so excited and see it as exponentially value added by members of the neighborhood being able to work creatively with the artists to create something of ownership, and that experience is 100% what this board and what the city and the direction is trying to do. I'm just elated by that.
Yeah. I mean,
I see
I'd
that
be
as
thrilled
much value added.
if this works and the first 6 are such a success that there's 10 more neighborhoods lined up saying we want to do it too.
Right. I'm just thinking of the opportunities for the people in the neighborhood.
The collaboration.
Who might not have an opportunity to meet with an artist and contribute ideas that then end up.
They can see it really come to fruition.
Right.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So at any rate, one other thing I wanted to share with you while I'm here. This, just something additional that since our last meeting in June that the Arts Alliance has completed, and we did this principally almost entirely. I miss you. Actually, you got it last meeting. We did this almost exclusively, with our own work and design and with a helpful SPC intern that we just had for 90 days. But I mean, that's pretty good. And this is just, self-published, printed off of our color copy machine at my office. But this actually, and we're going to put it online too. This would actually enable you to take a little self-guided tour of just this immediate downtown area, and you would be able to access 16 different public art items, just in that area, inclusive of the new murals, inclusive of the signal boxes, and inclusive of the public art installations like Sculpture 360, et cetera. So these are, keeping it simple like this, when Sculpture 360 changes out and we get to the next chapter, the next iteration, it would be easy to just slot in the new ones. But it just gives you a basic of whether you want to go with a buddy or whether you just want to say, I've got a meeting and I got an extra half an hour. Hey, here it is. So anyway, wanted to share that with you. That's an ongoing project. We're, working on trying to make people more aware of how much there really is if you take the time to smell the roses and look around at what's there. There's quite a bit to enjoy in our downtown area. So, and before I go, one other point on the learning tree. I'm still, at least I'm not able to find a name tag that tells the name of the piece, the artist, and when it was installed. So if we're going to do the nameplates again, somebody please put a plaque somewhere that says what that piece is. I mean,
There's questions and comments before you walk away.
yeah, sure.
That one's, that's been around a long time, so I remember actually
Yes.
voted on that one, so we
Yes.
should have that information, we should be able to grant.
Will be taken care of very quickly.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so that could be etched into your plates, and then that would take care of it for good.
Great idea. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, by the way, thank you for all that. Everything you've done is great, very helpful, and I love the boxes personally.
Yep.
I think they're fantastic. The part about the neighborhoods, and I appreciate the idea of wanting to make sure that you get the neighborhoods involved. But I would guess that some of these neighborhoods that are underdeveloped may not have a group that is willing to get together, that kind of maybe makes it to believe that maybe they need a little help, so maybe Juliana can help with those groups to kind of
Yes.
encourage them. And I appreciate you saying that we're going to go out there and let them know this is happening, but trying to help them along to say, we
Right.
need you guys to participate because we don't want you to miss out on this
Yeah,
opportunity.
they'll need some shepherding, it seems to me.
Yeah,
And
that's-
I mean, thankfully, we have her department that
Yes.
can help with that too.
A lot of the neighborhoods that were listed as underserved previously in our discussions actually do have neighborhood associations already, so they do have that nice collective grouping, but right now, we are working with one neighborhood that doesn't have an association to develop this piece of signal box art separately from Beth's program. So we are starting to establish a methodology for how to work with a neighborhood when that infrastructure isn't already in
Okay,
place.
so all the ones that, listed on your list, they have an association with the exception of one, is that what I'm hearing?
I think the vast majority of them do. Beth, do you have that list?
I do have the list. Well, it's exactly the same list as on
I see that.
Christopher's new criteria
Yeah,
too.
I see
I
that.
mean, I got it from him before I put it in
No,
that
that's
slide.
great.
Brook Hill does, East Gateway does, Glen Oaks does, Lake Bellevue does, Milton Park does, North Greenwood does not. Skycrest does, Spring Branch
Milton Park
does, and
does
Sunset
have-
Highlands does.
We have a representation of CNC with Milton Park.
We have a representative, but not a formal association that represents the neighborhood.
So long as there's an organization that can
Most
come,
definitely.
and
There's a
that's,
bar- there's
yeah,
a-
that's $1 million question, right? Because you can put out these flyers, you can go out and meet door to door, but to get somebody to attend may be really hard to do. So, and those are usually the ones that I would think that's who needs the help. They want to see that art because it's beautiful stuff.
I will say of North Greenwood, although they don't formally have an association, they also don't have a signal box that's eligible for the program any longer. Their final signal box, we're actually working with them to develop a piece of art for it presently.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we hired an artist and they're collaborating with the North Greenwood Recreation Center kids. The kids submitted designs and then Beth Mormath is actually helping to formalize that into an image we place on the signal box.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
And to that, just to back up some, within the guidelines as well, for any projects that do not have, say, an arts advocacy agency leading them, a city department will be assigned a representative to help shepherd that project along.
Okay.
Just making sure that it's going in the way that it needs to, it's abiding by the codes that we have, that we, by supporting that project with Public Art Board funding, know that the investment is going to come to fruition.
Awesome. That's great.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Would
There we
need a
go.
motion to approve grant funding to.
So let's be clear, the motion to approve the request is for $9,000, is that correct?
That-
Okay.
Yeah.
repeat that, please, just for the board, so they
Oh,
know
sure.
what your ask is?
Yes, the ask was for 9,000, which, based on now 25 sample examples, should get us minimum six boxes. Some of them are larger and smaller, and, you know, it's the per square inch cost of the vinyl wrap that does part of it. But obviously, if we get to 7, that'd be great. If we get to 6 and there's a little bit left over, it can go toward, you know, the next one if we can find another source of funding, so.
All right,
I motion to approve.
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beth, I'll get with you on transfer of funding and support.
And moving on, is there more that wants to be shared? Verbal report from staff on progress of the public art installation, Morningside Guy Camper.
Just doing diligence, responding to the comment. No, there's not any further that we've not discussed.
Okay. All right, thanks. We've heard the director's report. Is there more to the director's report?
I just, you know, this being one of my earliest meetings coming back, I just wanted to say that I'm very glad to be back and serving the program. I look forward to completing the cultural plan within the coming year. That'll be starting in November. It will be a full formalized cultural plan with public input sessions throughout the city for residents to you know, voice what they'd like to see in the future, what they feel the current cultural climate is, and it will be produced by an external consultant for us, so that it is a non-biased opinion. And then we will have some more. I'd also like to say that I am very closely involved with Coachman Commons, and I'm helping the aesthetic review with that. And am on all of the regular update meetings with Stantec, our designers. So there will be a large public artwork and aesthetic component that our public can enjoy with that project.
Very exciting.
What is the timeline? Maybe you don't know the answer to this for the Coachman Commons. Did we get anything updated? I know you mentioned that was
I
kind of going up and
believe
down.
the current newspaper, and I can bring it up for you, Mr. Delk did mention that the current timeline, at least as it stands right now, let me go ahead and find that for you.
No rush, just curious if you had any feedback. I hadn't actually looked at it that closely, but maybe seen some of that as well. But,
It's really good to see.
yeah.
Right now, I can tell you, just off knowing where we're at right now, we're at 30% drawings. The zones of the park are being established, and the themes of those zones are also being established. Things are still sort of moving as to where they will sit, but there are some designs, as Mr. Delk was alluding to, very organic. I'm sorry, I should reference this. At our last Thursday scheduled council meeting, Mr. Delk gave a presentation to the city council. And during that presentation, he showed some potential idea creating examples of what could be out there. Many of those ideas are natural and organic in nature, tied within the environment that is unique to the park. Also in deference to the native flora in this area. And so looking at native plant species that would be able to thrive in that climate and that amount of usual rainfall. Sorry, I'm kind of blah, 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 blah. Looking for that report. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it that, it's not like it's all gonna be done at once. It'll come in
Correct.
increments,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
part of it is figuring out what will be first and how
Correct.
things will go.
Right now, there are 2 phases. One phase, the dominant phase, includes the northern portion of the park. That is the library, the concert area and the green, as well as some planting areas and the children's splash pad area. Phase 2 is the south side of the park, the South Bluff Walk, the main gateway, and the lake feature of the park. Here, I've got it up now. Mr. Delk said that the timeline of park reactivation is still to be determined. Delk said construction, which will take between 15 to 18 months, can't begin until permits are drawn. Those are still months away. This was from an article from today that was written by Kirby Wilson. It's in the Tampa Bay Times.
Thank you.
And I will, just in reference to a past discussion, I will bring the presentation to our next meeting.
Awesome.
Great. Any board members have anything else they want to add? All right. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you. Good job.